Welcome to the Master Dealmaker's Secrets podcast. And now, here's sales growth strategist, John Blake.
Welcome to Master Dealmaker Secrets. I'm John Blake. This is episode 83, and today we're going to talk about how you can, a really simple template that you can use to integrate product knowledge with the sales conversation. Such an important subject. I'm really excited to be sharing that with you, but before we do that, if you've got leads and you want to convert more of those leads into paying clients, head over to johnblakeaudio.com and grab your free audio training where I show you how you can double your sales with the existing leads in your pipeline. These are the people that you've spoken to, leads that you've paid for, but they haven't converted into paying clients. I don't care how old they are, you're going to be able to convert some of these into paying clients. So head over to johnblakeaudio.com and grab the training. Not only will you get the audio training, what you'll also get is a PDF that has the exact word-for-word scripts, exactly what to say in your emails, exactly what to say when you ring up and you get someone's voicemail, and exactly what to say when you ring up and you actually get through to the person to have a conversation with them to see if they are ready to buy. So I look forward to hearing your success story. It is at johnblakeaudio.com. Grab that now. You will be super glad that you did. Okay, so today, what we're going to talk about is how to integrate product knowledge with the sales conversation. So I see this happening so often. I'll start talking to a business about their sales and I'll say, do you do any sales training? And they'll say, yes. And I'll go, great, what do you do? And they say, oh, we teach our guys about the product. And I say, well, tell me about that. And so 9 times out of 10, what that looks like is they just learn all of the technical aspects of the product. And the more technical the product is, obviously, the more stuff that they need to know. And the more stuff that they need to know, the more they start to bring that knowledge into a conversation with a client. So what you end up happening is, on the right hand, you've got all of this product knowledge, and that forms part of this conversation. But on the left hand, you've got the actual sales process and the process that you need to bring a client through in order to maximize the possibility of them actually buying something. And often they exist as two separate things. And in most cases, there's a whole truckload more emphasis put on the actual product knowledge and the technical aspects of the product or the service, and not enough emphasis that's actually put on the sales process. So I'm going to teach you a framework that you can use because, to not belabor the point too much, but obviously if you have all your salespeople just talking about your product, that's actually not going to generate sales because your client doesn't care about your product until they understand that you understand their problem. And so the majority of your process really needs to be focused on uncovering their situation, uncovering their problem, and seeing whether your problem's actually going to fit. So how do you do that? Well, when you get to the appropriate part in the process, so you need to make sure that you've obviously created some rapport. You need to make sure that you've framed the process really well. You need to make sure that you have properly diagnosed their situation and uncovered a problem that is big enough that they are willing to actually invest to solve that problem. And then once you've done that, when you actually get to the part where you need to explain about your product or service, what you can use is this idea of pace and lead. Okay, so pacing, so a pace, so PACE. The word comes from like in a race, right? So if you're pacing somebody, you are running at the same speed as them. If you're pacing somebody verbally, you are talking at with the same type cadence or with the same type energy or at the same speed or at the same volume. So it's kind of like a modeling thing, or a rapport thing. If you have done any research on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, pacing is where you are essentially, with somebody, you're mirroring them. But we can also pace verbally, and we pace verbally by, in this particular context, by asking a question that we know that the person is going to say yes to. So my favorite example of this is when I used to be the National Sales and Marketing Manager of a sunglass company for Australia and New Zealand. We used to sell a style that came in plastic lenses or polycarbonate lenses, and it also came in glass polarized lenses. And the glass polarized lens version of the same frame was actually almost twice as expensive, was twice the price of the polycarbonate lens product. And so you had what looked like to the naked eye the exact same frame. It looked like the exact same product, but one of the exact same shape had glass lenses in it, glass polarized lenses in it, and the other one had plastic lenses in it. So 9 times out of 10, if someone was in a retail store and they were looking at buying one of these pairs of sunglasses, the natural question was, how come these ones are $100 and these ones are $200? Because for all intents and purposes, they look exactly the same. Only one's got glass lenses and one's got polarized lenses. So the customer would say, how come these ones are $100 and how come these ones are $200? And so the salesperson who was working in the store would say, well, these ones are glass polarized. And then what would happen is the conversation would grind to a halt, because the customer would say, well, what's glass polarized? And that was back when not many people knew what glass polarization meant. In fact, I would assert that there would be a fairly large percentage of people who still don't know what glass polarized is. So we had to come up with this template. So we used pace and lead. So a pace is something that the person already believes, and the lead is something that becomes true based on the pace being agreed upon. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of this so that this makes sense. But in general terms, a pace is something that something that the person already believes is true. A lead is something that becomes more true based on their agreement on the first question, which is the pace. So what does this sound like in a conversation? So the person, so we'll go back to our sunglass example. Customer says, why is this one $100? Why is this one $200? And the salesperson says, well, these ones are glass polarized, and these ones are polycarbonate lenses. And the customer says, well, what's glass polarized? And so the pace in this situation was, well, you know how when you're down the beach and it's in the middle of summer and you get that reflection of anything, like of glass windows on cars, of chrome on cars, anything that is remotely reflective, you get that glare, that shining glare that comes from the sun, right? Now, if you're listening to this, I'm sure that you can picture that. You've been down the beach, especially if you live in Australia, you will see that glare. You can picture that glare. So everybody knows that to be true. They're down the beach in the middle of summer, and anything that is remotely reflective is shining this glare into their eyes. Okay, well, that's the pace. The lead is, well, what glass polarization does is it's actually a film that is manufactured into the lens, which actually stops that glare before it gets to your eyes. So that is a particularly powerful way of explaining a fairly technical optical thing. I mean, these days a lot more people know what glass polarization is, but back then I had to teach this to essentially between 16 and 20-year-old kids that worked in surf shops. So I needed something simple that they could use. But you can use this template to explain anything of a technical nature. So you can say, well, how, and that is that essentially expresses the problem that this particular product solves. Well, what this does is it stops that problem by doing this. So I encourage you to go through this process. Look at some of the technical things that you're currently talking about that really just relate to product knowledge and explaining product knowledge, and see how you can integrate the two. And if you would like more help with this, we talk about this in the Lead Conversion Mastery 6-week program. I've just about to wrap up the first 6 weeks. If you're interested in finding out about that, we are creating fantastic results with the people that are going through. We're just about to get to the customization part at week 5 of the process. So if you're interested in becoming part of that, you can find me on LinkedIn. Just look for John Blake Sales. Look me up on Facebook, John Blake Sales, or you can email me, john@blake.com.au. I answer my own emails. I respond to my own emails, and I look forward to hearing from you. Even if you just want to create a pace and lead for your business, email it through to me, and I'll critique it for you and send it back. Anyway, hope you get some value out of that, and thank you very much for listening. I'll talk to you on the next podcast. Cheers.
You've been listening to Master Dealmakers Secrets with John Blake. Subscribe to get more in-depth strategies to maximize your sales process with new episodes every week. And double your inquiry to sale conversion with the lead flow you already have. Go to johnblakeaudio.com for his exclusive free no-fluff audio training and companion PDF guide.